Hello everyone and welcome to our presentation. My name is Dr. Terracciano. The title, 21st Century Teaching and Learning. So I'd like to explain to you a little bit about what we mean, or what do I mean by developmentally appropriate music practice. It refers to the types of activities in the learning environment. For example, children love to move. They love to listen, sing along, or sometimes chant the words to a song. And lastly, providing children the opportunity to play a simple instrument, percussion instrument, like a xylophone, for example. So in today's presentation, the topics are you interested? So in the process of understanding what learning in the 21st century looks like, we're going to look at the past and we're going to look at the present. We're going to look at some online resources. And then we're going to look at an article that was published in one of our young children journals. Lastly, how do we take this content and infuse it while providing children with developmentally appropriate music practice? I will provide you a conclusion, some references, and some contact information if you choose to contact me. So, in the article, are you interested? We're looking at the way technological tools are changing the landscape of the 21st century teaching and learning. Essentially, what we have today is different than yesterday. Teachers today can engage in professional development quickly, taking less time and less money it requires. For example, the traveling to and from a workshop. And much of what we can learn today instantaneously can be done in our homes. And lastly, it can meet our demanding schedules. For example, we no longer have to take a class during such and such a time and such a date. We can actually engage in professional development while we explore a website. And then lastly, we know the resources that we have today are different than what we had yesterday. So today, at a click of a button, teachers have access to resource sharing websites, chat rooms, apps, and blogs that are contain a seemingly endless stream of ideas for their early childhood classroom. Resources that would have taken years to compile in hard copy are now available online by searching a few keywords. And this is what we're going to look at today. So what did it look like in the past? Well, in the past it was a face-to-face type of engagement, versus today it's more like an online type of engagement. In the past, we get together in groups, 3 to 5, or maybe sometimes a full class of students, right? Today, we can engage in professional development individually, and it can pertain to a specific area of focus. So what we're seeing is that today, it differs greatly from traditional methods for locating resources for a particular need, which might require sifting through books on broad topics, or professional development, which usually occurs in a one-time and location and is often targeted at the needs of a group versus a specific person. So what I'm thinking is that we can engage in online activities while we are sitting down in our living rooms, while we are a passenger in a car. And it could be done through, maybe if we're in our home environment, through an iPad or a laptop computer. On the other hand, if we are in travel, if we are on a bus, if we're in a train, if we're in a car and someone is driving, we can actually get resources on our iPhones or any type of smartphone. So the broad availability of online resources has made finding ideas to implement in the classroom a professional pastime, meaning we can do this just about any time. Websites such as Teachers Pay Teachers, Edutopia, teacher-created resources. These allow educators to search for classroom activities, lessons, expert information. So there are many sites out there that we can actually look into and get the ideas that we need for the classroom setting. So what we're going to today look at is the site. It's the site on www.pinterest.com. And specifically, we're going to type in music and movement. And we're going to look at a couple activities. One of them is the tissue dance, and the other one is 10 incredible fun songs for teachers, or 10 incredible fun songs for toddlers. So let's go and look at some of that information together. So again, this idea that I got came from the YC Young Children Journal. This is our July issue. And the article is, "Are you interested in 21st century teaching and learning?" So if we go to www.pinterest.com, all we need to do in here is type in music and movement. There you have it. And let's look for the tissue dance. Now here's the 10 incredible fun movement songs for toddlers. And here's the tissue dance. These are just two activities that I chose for this presentation today. And as you can see, it looks engaging, it looks fun. Children will move, children will possibly listen and possibly sing along, And to play this game, all we do is have everyone put a tissue on their head before you play any music, then start the music and begin dancing, but don't let the tissue hit the ground. If the tissue starts to fall, allow little ones to catch the tissue and put it back on their heads. However, if they miss and the tissue lands on the floor, they're out. Now, I do not agree with this, so you may want to keep the children actively engaged, and that's my recommendation, that even if they drop the tissue, they're still part of the game. Let's look at the other activity that I was telling you about, which is 10 incredible fun movement songs for toddlers. And what I like about this one here is, let's read it, is they provide you with songs, a list of songs, and a list of recordings, and all you do is you come here and you select one of the songs that you would like to have kids engage in while music and movement. So this is our area of pin interest. let's go to the next slide. So how do we infuse developmentally appropriate music practice? Well, according to the book titled Smart Moves, listening is not all in our heads, right? So I'm here to tell you the importance of music of movement. Hannaford states that the more the young children move, the better they will learn. As a result, movement stimulates neurological development, which explains the potential it has on the learning process. I am advocating for this type of activity because I know the benefits from looking at the research, the benefits that it has on a child. So let's look at some online resource. So if we go to buzzsongs.com, we're going to see that there's a list of songs there that provide us with the words, with the recordings, and some video image too. So let's go and explore that. So here's our buzzsongs.com. And I want to go to number 4. It's titled Mr. Sun. And what I like about this site, as soon as you click on, kids actually have the opportunity to listen, and you can engage in an activity such as the tissue dance. Kids can, again, put their tissue on their head and move around the classroom or the learning environment without bumping into one another. And that should also be an area that you convey to the children. You definitely don't want to bump into your neighbors. And if possible, you don't want the tissue to hit the floor. Okay. And so what I like about this, so if you're looking for additional websites, please Google a hands-on music education in-service program for early childhood educators, quasi-experimental study. And if you go to page 150, I have provided a list of resources on there where you can access online sites that provide children with developmentally appropriate music practices. Let's go to the next slide. So I'd like to provide a little bit of a conclusion here. If you're unsure where to start, just begin following the NAYC Pinterest page, which shares developmentally appropriate resources for working with young children. It's very simple. All you do is go to Pinterest.com and then type in here NAEYC, and as you can see, look at all of these different areas. You can get resources related to the standards, for preschool, for specific subjects, for putting together a portfolio or having a portfolio where you have a snapshot picture of children's learning process, of what children can do, and there's different age groups here, and so I hope that you find this area quite interesting because I do. Okay? Some quotes here. Let's see what this one says here. It says, childhood is not a race to see how quickly a child can read, write, and count. Childhood is a small window of time to learn and develop at pace which is right for each individual child. So I just love that because it tells us that each child is unique and each child has a special gift, a special talent, right? So I hope that you find this site as interesting as I do. And so, in the process of providing children with developmentally appropriate music practice, right, we're creating a wonderful world for a child. I'd like to thank you for being part of our program. These are some of the references that I recommend, and I hope that everybody has the opportunity to check some of it out on their own. And again, if you have any questions, I look forward to hearing from you. My email address is right here below. And thank you again.